But you know how the thing goes. Certain things don't make no sense. It's cuffing.
Let me know when we start so I could know.
Yeah, we rolling now.
Oh, that was that. Oh, I thought he was killing a bum fly or something like that.
No. We always like to have little cold openings and things like that
right.
because we always like to do a little prelude before we roll into the intro. But welcome to Erryting Kool.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies. No sanity, it's just insanity. My mommy hoping nothing happens to me.
Everything's very
The weather's
cold.
nice.
Yeah.
Cuffing season.
It's cuffing
Perfect.
season, so I had to be a little prep boy
Get
out.
your Carlton Banks on it.
Yeah, But today we have a great guest, Ricardo Mrbeeds. I met Ricardo for the first time a few years back. Like, I think when we was doing the stuff for Get Money Smart campaign.
Yes.
Like, we shooting that
good
commercial.
Good memory.
And then you did some stuff for, you was doing a lot of stuff with that campaign. So where I was, hi, this is Lord Jaylin Willard, the Negus of Nassau, St. Anton, Alexander, TV and the GOAT. And we're joined with the party of one.
In the backyard. I need to figure out what like a party of one person is.
I mean, it's
So
still
we could
the
start.
party in the backyard, though.
It's still a party in the backyard, but it's only me invited to the party. Like only me showing up to the party now.
I mean, if you would like to be at the party, please let us know and email us at theoriginalpeoplenetwork@gmail.com or slide in our DMs, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram
Yes,
for more
it's-
information.
P. Giovanni, aka PG, aka PG13, aka PG13, aka a favorite non-bay, aka
Too many
AKAs. I forget one AKA just now, honestly.
I think,
Right?
hold on, in plain sight or
Hidden in plain sight,
Hidden in
right?
plain
AKA
sight.
hidden in plain sight. AKA too many AKAs.
AKA too many
That is
AKAs.
a lot.
And we are our guests. Please introduce yourself.
Confused enemy, you see?
Yes, my name is Mrbeeds. Ricardo Forbes is my government name. But most people know me as Mrbeeds, local entertainer, social media influencer, and the list goes on.
Nice.
Wow. So, Mrbeeds, on every show we have the segment called Bahamian Word, Phrase, or Saying of the Day, and we normally give our guests that pleasure in doing so.
Okay.
So, it's all yours.
So what am I doing? Am I
You giving us a Bahamian word, phrase, or saying of the day.
okay?
So, anything you want to come up with.
Right.
Let me see. The Bahamian word. The first thing that comes to mind is tingam.
Tingam. Did we have Tingam yet?
I know.
You only had tingam yet?
I feel like we would have, but I don't think I can't recall.
I can't
You
remember.
You only
Right.
never had tingam? Wow. I thought some of them were already
Tingam
used
in
that.
the bush ain't got
We
no
probably
name.
had it,
right.
but now we need to have a log now.
Because like we literally on episode, this can be episode 66 or 60.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, tingam. Tingam is the word of the day.
Tingam. And what is Tingam?
Yes.
For
Yes.
our international
Tingam
audience.
actually is a phrase or word that Bahamians use when they can't remember something. So it's synonymous with anonymous, or I don't know. Well, it's
The
synonymous.
ultimate substitute.
It's a substitute.
It's the ultimate substitute.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
Tingam them or
Yeah. So if you
What?
can't remember something, it's called tingam.
I just been by Tingham.
I just been
Yeah.
by
So if
Tingam.
you can't remember a
No,
person's
tingam.
name, you can't remember the time, you can't
right.
remember place,
Tingam.
you know, you can always replace it with tingam.
Tingam.
And if you're one of those educated Bahamians, it's not tingam, it's thingam.
Tingham.
Tingam in the
With a
bush.
TH in
thing.
there.
Man.
That don't even make sense. You might as well call it Tingam. Like
Yeah, you know, but thingam is what most people say.
Interesting. That's all good.
Ultimate substitute, and we expect it to work. Like that's so. Like it, I don't want to say it offensive, but it's like, babe, you telling me Tingham, babe? Like Give me some
So,
details.
right, yes, right.
We
But
expect
you know,
it, like
like,
people
who the
literally
hell-
say it and expect it to work.
Yeah, and it does sometimes.
Sometimes
because-
it does work.
because if you know the person very well, you have like a little telepathy going on.
Yeah,
Where you go,
right.
oh yeah.
yeah.
Dang 'em. You know,
Right.
you know, if you're
Oh,
talking
like-
about a gal or you're talking about a situation that's going down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Code. It could be a code word too. You know?
Right.
Yeah, Tango. So we getting into it because normally we always used to call Erryting Kool the love part. Actually, yeah, the relationship part. We had a lot of relationship stuff. But what inspired this part was a conversation me and Ricardo had one fateful night a few weeks ago, and we was like, okay, he has a little bit, I guess, opposite opinion on certain things than I do. So I was like, yo, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's
This,
run it.
this is the season for love. We are in the midst of cuffing season.
Yes.
And would you consider yourself a love guru? Because you've been on like when
Love
relationship.
guru. I
Yeah.
don't know about all of that.
Because you hosted whole panels on relationship.
Yeah, I've done
So-
it. Yeah, I mean, but see, a guru isn't something that I think you should give yourself.
Okay.
I think people should kind of bestow that upon you.
Okay.
You know, it's just my opinion on it. Now, some people, you know, we're in a world where people love to name themselves whatever.
Uh-huh.
So that's right. People have never been on a podcast before, but all of a sudden, or a show, and they had a guru. You know?
Yeah.
So, because it just sounds cool. You
Yeah.
know? But hey, at the end of the day, that's just I'm from the old school. You know, I think that should be bestowed upon you
Okay.
after you would have earned your stripes. You know, maybe help some people, maybe give some good advice. Maybe people say, you know what, this guy makes sense. I like, you know.
Okay.
So then, yeah.
All right. So your perspective on cuffing season was I was introducing the idea of it, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, but it's basically it's cold out and everyone wants to be lovey-dovey. So give everybody the best 10 tips that they need to thrive in cuffing season.
So you really gonna hit me with 10?
10.
Okay,
I was
let's
thinking
go
about
with
number 2. That's a big number.
Yeah.
10. So the tips for cuffing season?
Yeah.
Oh man, tips. Well, cuffing is not. I'll start off by saying it's not traditionally. Let me put it that way.
No.
It's not traditionally a one-man party like I was talking about earlier. You need someone else. You need at least two.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure someone out there is gonna say, "Hey, I can cuff myself." All right, fine, and that's all good.
Yeah.
But traditionally, it's you need another person, and it's just that's number one, and number two, that person that you're cuffing with, they should want to be there as well. We don't want to force cuffs on anybody.
You hear that, people? So don't cry and say, "Oh, I don't feel like this person really loved me," when I really never want to be
we
there.
don't believe in that.
Right.
We believe in people willfully wanting to be cuffed by you or cuff you.
Yes,
Right. So yeah. So that's number two.
and no coercion.
Let me see what else. When it comes to cuffing, yeah, I think the person should be alive. I think
Yeah,
that they
most
should
definitely.
no necromancy and
No
those things.
necromancy.
Yeah, animals. We don't really promote that either.
Okay.
Should be a human. These are things that I think I shouldn't have to say, but hey, we live in a strange world.
Yeah.
So
We
It's
do.
2021.
yes,
You got to say that.
Another human. They should be alive. They shouldn't be there by force, and it shouldn't just be you.
Okay.
You shouldn't be cuffing yourself,
Right.
Right.
But I'm sure somebody's gonna probably do that.
Of course.
What else? When it comes to cuffing, I think another good piece of advice. If the person's body temperature is warmer than yours, that helps too.
Yeah,
Because
they
some
should be
people
bigger spoon.
some people get cold very quickly.
So you mean
You know-
figuratively or literally?
No, literally. Because some people, they always cold. I'm sure you might have met a female like that before. I don't meet much guys like that, but women always
Yeah.
talking about they're cold. If it's the time of the year where they need that warmth, the warmer the person's body is, the better. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
That's why.
Now, typically, when I was growing up, we had a joke, a joke about that, because I was skinny guys. We always had a joke when you see between December and April, between those months, which we consider the cooler time in the Bahamas. We always say we had a word back in the day called mumphy. I don't know if you ever heard that before. It was a reggae song. It's called Oversized Mumphy. and it was pretty much talking about fat girls. So back in the day, we'd be like, yeah, you go get yourself a Mumphy. This is Mumphy season.
Mumphy
Or this is
season.
fat girl season.
Yeah.
So
Fat
all the
girl
skinny
season,
dudes,
Yeah.
all the
yourself a
skinny
big
dudes
girl.
would go look for fat girls during the cuffing season back in the day.
Girl. I used to promote
Because
that.
you know, guess what? You could be warm.
Oh, you was remote.
Yeah.
I used to promote that. I agree.
Right, you see, so you could be warm, and guess what? It worked because why? Fat girls they were attracted to skinny dudes. Hey, you know the opposites in that regard attract. So that was
So that's why on this road, a lot of it's this myth of a lot of Bahamian men love big women.
yeah. So the big
Interesting.
women they were perfect. Now when you see May, June, July coming and get hot, now you go back to your skinny girl, you know, because that heat, especially if you ain't got no AC. You see what I'm saying? That heat is get your son. So yeah, so those would be some of my basic rules. I think it was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that was
you got
good.
it,
Yeah. So that's my sporadic cuffing season rules.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll think of 1 or 2 more, but right now I can't think of any more.
Don't cuff your ex.
Don't cuff your ex.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big one.
But you never know. Some exes.
Some people like that, but
see some exes.
That's how
after
you
you
get
break up
catch.
with them,
They get
they
better.
they try to give you the impression that they would have successfully moved on, but most of them are lying. So if you give them some time away from you to maybe let the emotions subside and get over whatever happened, and you call them at the right time,
you hit
they'll
them
cuff with you.
Look, right.
You see, because they don't really have nobody,
Desperate
or
times.
the person that they chose
Ain't all of that.
was worse than you.
Wow.
So the cuffing could work with the ex. You never know.
So why you think? I always wonder this, right? And just going off a conversation I just had, I find that men naturally don't choose to be single, but just single by just because. But women willfully choose to be single.
I think it's the other way around.
Why?
I think
We're gonna get a lot of response like I think it's the other way around.
no. What I'm saying is, I think men really don't. We don't really want to be in relationships.
No,
Most
but
men
we
don't.
but when I say we don't want to be single is we don't want to be without a woman.
Okay, say your comment again because maybe I
Okay.
didn't understand it.
So let me change it around. Women will willfully be without any male companionship, but men always fiend for that and always want to be in that position. Now it may not be a relationship per se, but if I gotta have a woman, like I can't be like, wait, no, I ain't dealing with no woman at any time.
I don't know. I think men, I think women. Okay, women when they get to a certain age this is what I've noticed. Right when they get to a certain age, like if you see them hit menopause or they beyond that, or they've been through some rough, they get old and they ain't really into sex and things like that no more. I find that women could be single without sex more so than men, and
Yeah.
so they don't really need a man to say have a boyfriend or a husband, but they'll still have a male friend because women love the company of men. They love to talk to men, even if the guy gay or whatever. You see what I'm saying? They just like to have a male around.
Okay.
So women always want that companionship. They always want someone to talk to. They always want someone to relate to.
Yeah, but they would vehemently deny themselves.
Yeah, but you can't go by what they say.
Okay.
You have to go by what they do. You know what I mean? So people will say anything.
Okay.
And they say it in a moment, just maybe for whatever reason, their motivation, maybe that's their emotions kicking in. They just don't want you to know their business, whatever. You know what I'm saying? People will just say it. But I'm just saying, traditionally, women do not like to be alone. And most women prefer men companionship over female companionship, which is another reason why they would want to have a male, even if they're not interested in him sexually, just to talk to him, get his opinion, make them laugh, do all these different things.
Yeah.
Men, on the other hand, if we going through a rough breakup, you just come out of a breakup,
You want to get into
we
something
may
else?
find a female, but it can be for sex, maybe to try to get our mind off what we was dealing with in the past, but to say bringing another female just to have conversation and talk with and all that, most men ain't really gonna do that. After they go through like a rough breakup period or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because most of the time it's like we don't necessarily deal with our emotions right away. It's
But we
always
hang with our
the
boys and talk to them. If
Yeah.
we could go find something else to do. But I think women have that. Women. I think men. I don't know. It's a funny situation depending on the scenario. But I think men. I don't. Okay, this is what I don't see. I don't really see men being by intentionally isolating themselves away from people, including females.
That's what I was
willingly,
yeah,
just like that. And I don't see women doing it either. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
People will always have someone to talk to as a friend, but like I say, now when it comes to the reasons, if a man entertaining females, if he's a heterosexual man, 9 times out of 10, the idea of sex is going to be involved. If a woman is entertaining a male figure, 9 times out of 10, it'll probably be for companionship, conversation first, and then maybe sex will be afterwards. That might be second on the list.
That might be fifth. Because I remember I was listening.
But it ain't be number one. But for most men, it could be, if you was a heterosexual man and you entertaining women, you ain't just entertaining them for friendship purposes. You don't really, you don't. If you're a heterosexual man, you don't really look to a woman to say, "Oh, this can be my best friend."
Yeah,
because I could tell my problems to and talk to, and you're looking for another male.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I remember I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and the dude was like, "Women today are excited about everything except men."
Nah, that ain't true.
Why you feel like that? It was because I was having conversations too. I was like a lady friend of mine was arguing that women aren't interested in sex, and I was like, they are, but not really with men, because you have this proliferation of sex toys.
I think okay, we live in a very serious era now where you have women trying to be men. And when I say trying to be men, it's so many different ways. I mean, it's scary. They compete with men on all levels. In sports,
we got to be parting now.
In the professional world and jobs and business, women just trying to you're in a relationship with a woman. She trying to do everything more than you. Trying to make more money, trying to run the relationship. So, and that spirit and that mentality has been pushed into the media. From, I guess,
the powers that be.
Yeah, the powers that be, they just keep empowering women, women empowerment movement and all that stuff. But inherently though, in a woman, they still attracted to men, unless you are a woman who.
Now, I'm not saying attractive, but
when I say attracted, I mean like they want men around. Now, what they don't want to do is, because of the empowerment movement, they don't want to take the traditional role that women used to take, where you kind of be submissive. That's why that word, they hate that. So they ain't really interested in that.
Okay.
But unless that woman gay, or unless she has some mental issues or something like that, don't matter what she come on TV and on social media and say, trust me, she got a man in her life somewhere. And so that's the next thing. We can't really believe everything we hear on social media.
No, but I mean, I'm having these conversations with different women, or where
I guarantee you'll be a fly on the wall and follow them around.
I know, because like when they say, "Oh, I don't need this and I don't need that," I'm like, "You lying?" Because when you lay down at night to go sleep, the real you
and then women will say certain things depending on who they're around. Like I said, if they don't want you to know their business, or if they ain't attracted to you or something like that, sometimes they just say some things. So
okay, so. One thing we was really talking about on our conversation is your journey from becoming blue pill to red pill.
Okay.
All right. So, and then I was like, okay, I mean, I have expressed my journey. I mean, my journey hasn't been extensive as yours, but when you was breaking down, okay, like what you used to do and what you had to do, like, okay, so what would you suggest to men in taking their journey? And for those who don't know, like, being blue pill to red pill is basically coming from a space of, I guess, being a loser and just falling for anything that women do, to where you more assertive within yourself and confident within yourself, and you focus on your purpose as a man.
Yeah, the blue pill and red pill term, they deep, because they go a little deeper than that. But I understand from that perspective. I'll answer. But it's a lot more to the blue and red pill whole.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot.
If
more.
you expanded, going from unconsciousness to consciousness, being.
But what I would say to you in reference to that was, I mean, what was the question you wanted me to say?
No, how your journey from being blue pill to red pill.
Yeah, it was a very painful journey. I'd say that much, because you had to experience some things and unlearn some things.
Okay.
And learn some things, and so it hurt. So it was very Because when you grow up thinking one way about relationships and women, and then you get into the real world and then you realize
This ain't the so.
this is not what I thought it was gonna be. Yeah.
I think too media plays a role in that, because when you're a young boy, you think women are like what you see on like TV
Disney.
and cartoons and things, and then you go out there being like this good noble guy, and then you get your heart broken first because you realize no, like this is what they portraying, but this ain't what it is in real life. And then now you go through like, okay, well, I don't want to be no punk no more and get play and don't understand female nature and hypergamy and all these different things, and then you adjust for a while, so you go on this rampage hurting people along the way at the same time, and then you get to a point to where you sort of focus and narrowing and trying to develop healthy relationships.
It's a combination of a lot of things. Like you say, when you're younger, and let's just say you don't have no strong male figure in your life. See, this is where it starts too.
Okay.
A lot of us who've never grown up with a father or a male strong figure who was going to be real with us and really guide us and teach us this is how a man's supposed to be. This is how you should understand women. This is how you should deal with women. If you've never had that, then you're going to suffer for a while when it comes to women.
Okay.
Or some fellas die like that. They live their whole life doing it.
Yeah.
Or you might be like me, where you buck your toe so many times and be like, you know what, I tired of bucking my toe on the same corner of the same bed every time, having to bite this pillow, in agony, right?
Right.
I need this to stop. And then you go on a journey and trying to figure out and understand, how do I stop bucking my toe on the edge of this bed and having to bite this pillow every time? And then you finally get some enlightenment and you figure it out, and then you be like, oh, this is different. All right. But I see it's getting the results that I want. And so then you go from there. So that's kind of how I was. I made a lot of mistakes, but I didn't have much guidance. See, because it starts from when you're young. You need that guidance. You need that guidance. Nowadays, I think there's more men out there, like through social media, pushing the agenda of this is how a real man's supposed to be and think and relate to women and all that stuff. You know, a lot of men doing it. But of course, the media and everything using women to push against it. And then they giving it all kind of different terms to kind of make men look like,
misogyny.
Yeah, but it is what it is. The pushback is there, but it's the only way that works. Because a lot of our parents and stuff taught us that, you treat women like princesses and Mr. Nice Guy, you don't say nothing to hurt their feelings, and whatever they ask for, you give them.
Yeah.
And even women don't like that. Because that's the first thing they're gonna say is, oh, he too nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just don't do it for me.
Mine.
And so, yeah, we've been taught wrong.
Because I think in the last probably 50 to 75 years, the society has sort of raised men to be a little bit more docile than past generations.
Yeah, man, yeah. That's the plan.
So it's, the switch where men are becoming more feminine and women becoming more masculine.
Yep.
So it's like, but then, you flipping roles at the same time, but women aren't satisfied with that reality.
And men aren't satisfied either.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay.
So that's why you can have a lot of men and women moving forward in the coming generations who will never get married. And you can have a lot of families, and you can have a lot of single parent families, and more that can increase.
Yeah, that's right.
You can have a lot more homosexuals. You can have a lot more bisexuals. You can have more transgenders. All these things are going to change because they just blurring the lines too much in terms of the way a man should be and the way a woman should be, and what are the rules and the definition and marriage and family, and it's just too much blurred lines. So people are just gonna feel like, okay, I am whatever I say I am. I call myself this, so I am this. Even though I may, but then with the way we wired, we kind of know that it isn't really normal, but then we fight against it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing. It's really weird, but I'm saying that's what's going to be happening. You can see a lot of people, because it's going to be too complicated. So, for example, you be a young man, you come up, you say, you know what? Okay, I'm comfortable in who I am. I'm a heterosexual, and now I want a woman who's going to work with me, not who's going to compete with me. And then you go in the workforce. You say, okay, but maybe she's a professional. She have a degree. She have a good job and all that stuff. And then she ain't really on your run, because at the end of the day, she's saying, I don't need you.
Yeah.
And then as a man, you need to feel needed.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So you basically start playing the game.
yeah,
of the
so
market.
then you'd be like, what's the sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to settle down, but she ain't trying to work with me.
But I think they
Yeah,
later regret that because a lot of parents and aunties and things like that, they had that same mindset. And
Yeah, they will regret it. If
Yeah.
she's a heterosexual, she will regret it.
You run up on breaks.
You see a lot of older women, like at Hollywood, a lot of older women in Hollywood,
single and
they ain't had no kids. And if you listen to them like Vivica Fox and I think some of these other female actresses and stuff like that,
yeah,
when they get that age where they hit the wall and they're not attractive as they used to be and they're not getting jobs like how they used to get them, and when they should have locked down that husband
yeah, many years ago.
who was a good guy who really liked them and cared for them, but they push him aside because they're looking for the guy who could empower them to make more money. And that guy wasn't interested in them. Now they're at a point now where they don't look good no more, and then they go to try find the guy who really like them, but then he's looking at them like, you dissed me in the past, so I don't want you no more. And so now they stuck. And then they feel like, okay, I didn't really go as far as I wanted to go chasing my dream, but now I want a family, but then I might be too old. I can't have kids no more, or it's just hard for me to trust anyone.
Or find a suitable mate.
Yeah,
that, so
because the guys, I have so much baggage. I don't trust men or the guys who I could get.
just be pardon.
They pour it, and they don't have as much money as me, so therefore they ain't gonna look good with my image. And it's like so much different things going on.
So much variety.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So, and then they just end up settling. I mean, if they really want to be in a relationship.
Yeah. Anyway, we gonna cut to a quick commercial break because he getting into territory where I about to get it too. But we gonna see y'all right back on the next side of Erryting Kool.
Yes, sir. Their looks have a shelf life. Yeah, they have a shelf life, you see. And what?
Yeah.
As you know, and then the delusion is kicking when they get in their 30s and 40s because it don't let them have a banging body and look good, or they were saying something in their 20s.
All
Oh,
right.
let's get that in. Okay.
Yeah. So we're back. So
Yes.
we're talking about when women hit that wall. And, I always tell a lot of my friends, I want you to be alone in your older ages. I see a lot of women, a lot of my aunties and godmothers and their friends was playing hot girl summer in the 80s and 90s. And now, you old, probably you had children, you didn't have children, and now you maybe retiring in your 60s, 70s, and you ain't got no one. You in a house by yourself where, you could have had a partner. But yeah, but let's talk to that, and then we could get on to the would you say your advice in single marriage? So, what's your you were saying? Okay, they get delusional in their 30s and 40s. That's
Women?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of women, as they get older, especially if they used to have a banging body when they were younger, or they had guys who had money and stuff like that when they were younger, and as they get older and they lose their looks, they lose their shape. A lot of them, as opposed to trying to work on it and not go and buy it, not going.
I remember a lot of them can't afford to buy no bodies.
Well,
Some of them be affording.
some of them, a lot of them buying it.
Yeah, they is be affording.
They find the money now. They can
They
find
is
the
be
money.
affording.
Trust me, they can find it.
Oh,
They want
man.
it.
I mean, I think everybody
But-
getting that non-intrusive.
But I'm saying, as opposed to
liposuction.
working on their, staying in shape, eating right, and all that stuff, a lot of them lazy in that regard. So they just let their bodies get out of hand, and then they want.
Are they gonna call you misogynist,
And
bro?
then-
They gonna
but they
say you kill
Blame
yourself.
everybody else.
No. Then they want you to like them for who they are, how they look, But in their mind, they still holding on to.
Past glory.
I had this drug dealer ex-boyfriend or this rich guy who used to take care of me,
Yeah.
and so therefore I still look as good as I used to look, or I still have as much value as I used to have when I was in my prime.
Okay, let me poke a pin right there. And I gotta ask both of y'all this, and y'all gotta answer this. Why do women have problems with men having standards after being begged for like women begging men to have standards?
I think because they still think that we supposed to be some type of sucker at the end of the day, right? It's like, and especially like how some men just grovel at women, like, it's like, bruh, I out there, this only what I could get or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? They used to men like just gawking over and this and that. So everybody feel like, oh, I could have this dude around my finger. When a man just come and have standards, it's like, and they like, wait, how you have standards?
Yeah.
Men don't really express having standards. And you would go, like, if they say, look at your baby, like a lot of women would be like, look at your baby mama. That's what you lay with and you expect to come with me? You know what I'm saying? They do stuff like that. So they'd be like,
We could do the same thing too.
right, we could. And then when we do the same thing, it's like, come on, now, this dude he have a standard? Like, look at what you like. You know, they always, and that's the next thing too, that's like egotistical too, because then there's some women think they better than other women and stuff like that. They wouldn't outright admit that, right? But you know, there's always a egotistical competition thing in their mind too. So I think that's how it go. What you say?
What was the exact question?
Like why men can't have their standards and women be fine with men finally having standards. Right. So let's say I don't want to.
It depends, you know, because the standards. Okay, this how women are. You could have standards, but then they got to be included in it.
Yeah, that's it right there too. That's it right there.
I like that
because
you got our
standards. Don't include them. The picture. It don't make sense. They
right.
In one sentence, that's it right there for real, baby.
Because okay, so
they have to be in the standard.
He tripping. He talking crap.
If your standards based on who they are and how they look and with them moment in time, and you with them, you have standards. He's a good man.
He got a good standard. If you ain't, he's a misogynist. He hate women.
Yeah, because
he like mine. He hate women.
Yeah, and they always like throwing like, oh, why I gotta be in shape or why I gotta be like this and that, But it's like, bro, no, but I think they feel that way because they feel like a lot of men are voicing saying, oh, why your standards so high. And that's why I don't tell women, like, you got your high standards, so I got my standards too.
Right.
I mean, if I don't meet your standard, I ain't gonna force you to change it.
Yeah, well, men and women different. So
yeah, and the weirdest thing is what people going back and forth on right now too is right. A woman would be fine. No, a woman would be fine. No, a man would be like, I want a skinny girl and I don't want no big girl. You know, some men be expressing that. Right. Women be like, well, you gotta be 6 foot, right? We can't change height. You can change weight. But it's a problem, right? It's a problem if a man wants a skinny girl. But then a woman could come and say, I want a 6 foot, 7 foot man. What a sick, I can't do nothing about that. What you expect me to do? But then it's a problem because they say I want a small girl. Not specifically me people, but that's general.
Yeah, you broke here or whatever. That's why I say I don't argue. Like if you ask your standard, that's your standard. But I ain't arguing with you.
That's the most unfair thing. Niggas have 5'8" and beyond and under. What a sick dread. I just supposed to dad or there then.
and then she'll cut you off and date a dude who 5'4".
Yeah.
So why? Because he got more money, probably.
Maybe not. No.
That's an next thing too, right?
It don't even have to be that. It's just that he might be one who's stroking their ego.
Something, yeah, or
so I mean, it could be a lot of different reasons.
Weird, right?
But yeah, that's my take on that. That's my take on that question.
So he has a very interesting take on dating single mothers, and I never heard no one like like really like break it down like that because again, especially I feel like this year with me discovering like Kevin Samuels and the whole manosphere and like women now hearing men be outspoken about how men feel and what men want and that's their requirement and this their standards. Everybody always have like a knee-jerk reaction like, oh, he hates black women, oh, this and that. So not knowing, and then conversation we're gonna get to on later how what's been happening recently in our country when it surrounds that. So what's your philosophy when dating single women?
Single women or single mothers?
Well, they're single mothers.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, right. Single mothers. I don't remember what I said to you the last time.
But okay, I get.
Remind me.
Okay, so you said the only time I wouldn't suggest a man dating a single mother, period, unless it's these two conditions. One,
yeah.
I think I know where this is going because I probably might have the same mindset.
See, because if you dating with the intention of marrying now, some people they don't date with the intention of marrying. They just dating for a good time.
Yeah. That's the next thing.
They're not there for a long time, but they're there for a good time.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's being stated at the beginning from the onset or not, some people they don't tell you their intentions. Women do it to men, men do it to women. But I'm just saying. But if that guy is looking for marriage, I was just saying there's just certain things that would have certain important factors that would have to be considered if he doesn't have any kids, especially. And now if he has kids, then it's still factors, but I'm just saying it isn't as bad. But if a guy doesn't have any kids and he's dating a woman with children, it's important that, number one, him and her getting along first, and then also him and the kids. But a lot of women, when they pick men, if they have kids, they don't really pick who they like per se, especially if they're thinking long term. They're looking at who would be the best stepfather for their children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, some women go, well, of course, and let's go who they like, and they don't really care, of course. But I'm just saying, most women, they're looking at this guy, like, he can make a good stepfather for my child or my children.
Yeah.
Right? And so you definitely want to make sure that the kids, that you have a good relationship with them. But then again, at the end of the day, if that doesn't work out in terms of children now, when it's time to break up with them or move on, and if the kids get attached to you, then, you're letting them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes they may not understand, depending on their ages.
Yeah.
But if a woman has a child and the child is very, very young, like a baby, and let's just say the daddy is dead or something like that, and he's not around, and you really like her, it's pretty much okay to stick with her, and she likes you. You'll have a good relationship. I think that's a good situation to stick with, because the child will grow up in most cases thinking of you as their father. Right? You see, so they'll have a stronger attachment, and they'll be more obedient to you. If you meet a woman with a child at a certain age where they know who their daddy is, and they know that you definitely ain't their daddy, it doesn't matter how much good you do for them. At some point, they can remind you
my
daddy. And if the woman doesn't have them disciplined or trained to the point where they respect you, especially if you're doing the right thing, and they don't, if she don't have, because some women let their kids get away with all kind of stuff, because the reality is a woman is never gonna, I won't say never, but there are few instances where a woman would love a man more than her child,
right?
And then of course what class of women they fit in. So most likely the child interests are gonna be put before yours. So as a man, you go into that situation, you can't be going there thinking you can be the most important,
right?
Yeah.
You can't be like, you can get all the respect because you second class.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of men do not like to date women with children. You'll find a man with 10 children, and if you want to get married again, he's trying to find a woman with none.
That's
So
very
you have
true.
some women, they have a lot of children too, but they ain't want no man with no kids either. If they find someone who, they say, well, listen, if they're in that era of their life where they want to have another child or could have another child, and this single man with no kids blow them away, they'll take a chance and let me have a child for him. Versus find a man who have an extended family and bring him in there, because now you got to get along with his kids got to get along with yours, and so you got to bring this blended family together, and it could be a lot of work getting everybody to merge and mesh. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much my general take on it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with dating single mothers or nothing like that, because some men have found true happiness with women who have children or a child, and some women have found true happiness. Some women don't have no kids too, and then they meet a guy with children, right? And then they marry him, and that's the best thing that ever happened to them. So, but it's just some factors you need to consider before you take the leap.
Interesting.
And then it's expensive.
Yeah,
that's the next thing too.
That come with a package.
It's expensive.
Because you can't just date the mom. It's like, the child is a complete package.
The children have birthdays. They want this done. Don't let them be in private school and all these different things. Don't think you can just be
they are chilling.
Right,
just
you got to show that support.
You
got to show that support.
You ain't have to take no responsibility. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
In most cases, it doesn't.
Interesting. But so off the heels of that, so I was listening to Summer Walker's new album, and I was telling you about it, like in our pre-production. And as still over it now. She was involved with this guy. Well, the premise of the album is the guy, her baby's father, who she was involved with, had 3 other baby mamas before him, and coming from the album, it was like, I guess at the end of the album, and the song or the track called Ciara's Prayer, she sort of took accountability for it. But through most of the album, a lot of guys was mentioning like, Well, not. I wouldn't even just say man. Women were saying it too. It was no accountability on our part because she sobbing over how dirty this guy did her. But it's like, sis, you should have saw all the red flags. If he was doing these things to 3 other women with his 3 other children, what makes you think this is going to be different from you, for you? So, and I think I posted this in the relationship goals group about women having accountability. And, people always say women are allergic to accountability. What's your take with that?
Well, I wanted to know what was her complaint?
Who?
About.
No, she just was saying how he left her alone while she was pregnant, cheating, wasn't there. How could you leave your family? And I always hear women do it all the time. How could he leave your family? And I just be like, he doesn't consider you to be his family.
Well, the question would be, which family did he leave?
That's
he had multiple
right?
families.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Why would you say why are you leaving your family if he already left 3 families?
Well, maybe to go make a new family.
Man, the technicality is I leave my family.
The same thing he did with her. When he met her, he left the 3 before to meet her and make a new family. He's now doing it with someone else.
Just like that.
So then she's number 4, and then she got to wait for 5 and 6 and whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, I often always say, people pick bad mates. I mean, men pick bad too, but we don't oftentimes overly complain about it. Like, oh, these girls, they take da 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 da. After a while, it's like you expect it to know. Okay, well, you know what this kind of woman is, this kind of woman is, this kind of woman is. Women is different. They'll go date pick bad a whole bunch of times, and then keep on complaining about the same thing over and over and over. And I had to tell a friend, you got to start being a cunt at a certain point. Because it's like, bro, how you keep on dating the same kind of guys? Mm-hmm. You have your do's and your don'ts. They always crossing out all your don'ts. And you left hurt. Like, after a while, you have to learn and be like, I see certain signals and signs. Now I got to move.
Right. But it's easier said than done. I mean,
I know, but it's like, how much times you get your heart broke?
Well, don't forget, women are built differently from us in a lot of ways. A lot of women, they love to be in those dark places. They thrive in that. Like, they might complain about it, but at the same time, it just, I don't know if it's like a turn on, like toxic? A fetish. It's kind of like maybe like a fetish or something for them. And so because they can handle it and dwell in it. Like you have women will literally brag about crying themselves to sleep. And they would find happiness in that. Some women, they would listen and watch things that would make them cry because they just want to cry. They just want to feel, you know what I mean? So when it comes to those type of dramatic situations and traumatic situations, some women, they intentionally seek them out.
Hardcore, wide
and
emotion.
even though they'll complain about it, that doesn't really mean that they hate it.
Well, they may be making it seem
as
like
a man, when we hear things, we automatically want to fix stuff. So if someone comes to you with a complaint, you're thinking of a solution.
Hardcore build logically.
Yeah, because that's their logic kicking in. But women are not really like that for the most part. So normally when a woman comes to you and complain, sometimes she just wants you to sit down and listen and just pretend like, okay, yeah, man. Okay.
No, I know that, but it's like,
but not judge her on it or make her feel like you ain't making no sense and why you keep doing that. Because that ain't really what she come to you for. Women is cut off their female friends for that.
Yeah.
They go complain to their female friend, girl, he's so stupid. Girl, guess you dumb. You letting them do. Next thing you know, picture disappear one tick.
No, but that's why they was like allergic to accountability.
They don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? That ain't what they come to complain to you for. They complaining to you just so you could listen and maybe sometimes agree with them in their nonsense and say, yeah, girl, you right, yeah, man. He wrong. You know what I mean? He should never do that. He should never do that to you. He should never make you feel this way. You know what I mean? That's what they want. So as a man, you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always say, okay, like, and a lot of women disagree with me with this, where I was like, yo, like, most men just taking what they could get. They don't have either the ability or, I guess, the social status to pick and choose whatever woman they want. So, like, when they could find something, they're going to latch on to it quick. So a lot of times, a lot of men approach women with a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, every woman ain't for you. And no man, I don't care how much money or fame he get, or goody luck or whatever. Can't get any woman he want. Nobody.
Yeah, but they would disagree. Well, you have all these dudes saying they players and they getting all the women, and that's like, no way. Like, yeah, like, let's say he gets 100 women, he then strike out on like 100,000.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. I'm just saying. I mean, if you depends on type of women. See, because some men are good at picking their prey. You see?
Why you say that?
So you could bat what is it 10 for 10?
Yeah,
you know,
go shoot 10 for
100%. Right,
yeah.
you could hit 100% if you're picking your prey properly.
You
see, but if you pick in the middle of your league, you'll be over 10.
Right?
You see, and so some men don't know what their league is. Some men delusional, just like some women delusional.
Yeah,
you know, you have a minimum wage job, but then you want to go in places where doctors and lawyers hang out, and then you want to talk to them and let them know that you have a minimum wage job.
Confidence on strong.
Are you confident? Yeah, man. I used to pick up garbage, and I worked for the Ministry of Works, man. You know, we used to pick up garbage and stuff like that. You know, we used to clean on the side of the road. So what you saying, man? I can't get a number 8. Which is like, nigga, really? You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you have some men who like that. You know what I mean? And they ain't care.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, in certain situations, you just cut down a low.
You can bat over 10 if you carry on like that.
No, but like in certain situations, you have low hanging fruit.
I'm just saying, low hanging fruit varies. You see, if you was a man,
I mean, I don't think so. For the average person,
if you already build up your sexual market value or your
SMV,
whatever it is, you already have a status, a name out there. Yeah. Women seeing you on TV, or they know that you have this level of success. You don't really have to do much. You would get the ghetto girls, you'll get the business women, you get the ones who you look at as qualified or hard to get. You get the fine, you get the ugly, you get the ones in between, because they are most likely gonna throw themselves on you or put themselves in position,
right,
where you don't have to do much to get them if that's what you want. But you already build up yourself to a certain value.
But what I'm saying is most men aren't in that position.
I know, but I'm just saying. But whatever position you are, all I'm saying is you just need to know what you qualify for.
Okay, so the tip of the day is know what you qualify.
If you're on minimum wage, do it.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you can't, certain women are not going to be interested in you just because of that.
Right. The buffet ain't as full.
They don't care how nice you are, how good your intentions are. They don't care how thuggish you may be. They don't care whatever it is you have to offer. And
she can say,
they looking at you. Where you work?
That's what these do, right?
Women, they love to ask you a question. Where you work? What you do?
They look at that and
if you don't have a good lie,
for
some
that's
women,
it, right?
You don't have to lie to all. I'm just saying, but some
I
women,
feel like you have to lie to all.
No, you don't got to. Some
women, they don't mind you having a minimum wage job.
Right.
They like you. And if they like you, they like you.
Yeah.
You see, and sometimes with women, it's timing too. You could have a minimum wage job and get a woman with a high profile job or a rich woman, but it's just timing, place, and timing. Because that woman who might have plenty of money or who might be a very successful lawyer, doctor, or whatever, or business person, you might catch her at a time when she going through some problems and she down, and you might just have that wisdom, those words to say to her and make her feel a certain way, and in that moment she fall for you. Now I don't know how long it lasts, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean. So timing is a key factor too. So
interesting. So,
but if you're looking at averages and percentages, most women they're not gonna they can judge you based on, you know, what you do for a living and how you look, how you carry yourself, and you know, stuff like that.
But that's why I always say the average guy just taking what he can get. Because
the average woman do.
Yeah. Or I mean, the average woman today trying to be picky.
Listen, don't mind these women, you know. See, a lot of men just fall for the things these women is be saying. A lot of women just pick up themselves to the point where I could get a man with money. Okay, you could get a man with money to have sex with you.
Contact.
But you can't get a man with money to stay with you and be faithful to you.
Man.
You could barely get a broke man to stay with you and be faithful. But you get anybody to have sex with you.
Yeah.
Sex is like nothing. Men with plenty of money will have sex with a broke woman.
Yeah, because we don't care about just
they don't care about the money. But I'm saying, but women will use that to say, oh, my ex, he's a millionaire and he's do this and he that. Yeah, but that don't mean that. So why y'all two ain't still together?
Yeah.
Why is he an ex? So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it ain't only about that. It's like me as a man bragging about, boy, you know, boy, give any woman I meet, I get them $1,000, they take it, boy, I know from there and give $1,000 too.
Time you getting sweet.
I'm saying, once you've given out money, any woman will take money from you. So it's just like a woman. Once she's giving out sex, almost any man will take it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that is not no big accomplishment to say,
Right.
As a woman, for a woman to say, "Oh, I had this type of caliber of a man,"
That
but
you had
y'all
sex
he
with.
ain't never marry you, he ain't never wife you up, and you had a child for him. That don't mean that, you know what I mean. That don't mean nothing, because a lot of women think if they have a child for a man, they can keep him.
Boy, a lot of baby mamas and baby daddies out there.
So I'm just saying. So that don't mean nothing either. So I'm just saying. So at the end of the day, you can't even listen to what people say when they brag about things like that.
So the tip of the day: don't listen to the noise in the market.
You know,
don't believe the hype.
If you know anything about the Bible, Jesus himself said, "You will know a tree by the fruit." So a mango tree could tell you all day, listen, but there's a coconut tree. There's a coconut tree. But when you see mango season come,
Mango seeds.
mango's coming.
Mango's coming.
You know, coconut coming on that tree. Right. So anybody can tell you anything about what they would have done or who they are and what they would accomplish.
Or how certain standards.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So I mean, you know, you just listen. And humans, you know, ain't nothing wrong with talking up, bigging up yourself. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, some people, they sell dreams. They just go a little too far. But women do it a lot, especially when they comparing themselves to other women, or if they're trying to build a value on themselves in your eyes. They trying to make themselves look like, well, I ain't no easy girl, or I ain't no girl who used to broke dudes, or dudes who ain't have nothing, who ain't accomplished nothing in life. I have had this type of caliber of man.
Yeah.
But like I say, having sex with him don't mean that you had him.
Right.
That's the word of the day. So just transitioning. So in our country in recent days, we've been grappling with some hidden trauma and some hidden events that which revolves around sexual predator nature, molestation, incest, rape, especially when it comes to minors. And I'm glad we're having this conversation around this now, because I've always said I've known a lot of women that have suffered at some point in their life from these social ills. And it's like, you know, it's finally coming to fruition. It's sad that, you know, under these circumstances where there has been loss of life, we're having these conversations. But I think because, I mean, on both sides, you from men and women are being these sexual predators. But, you know, oftentimes we just like to highlight the man's part. And then I always say, okay, the reason why you having this proliferation, there's so many men that preying on younger women and being in these situations with these single mothers and their children and things like that is because, you know, the scarcity mindset that I was mentioning earlier, like you can't control yourself with these sexual desires. So now you have to prey. You're already preying on this grown woman, but you have to prey on innocent and weak children. What do you say to that?
Well, you mentioned something earlier about going to the extent of losing your life or taking someone's life, right? You're saying that it's sad that we have to get to that extent.
Yeah, like loss of life.
But I have a question on that. Which is worse? Losing your life, your physical life, or losing your soul?
I say losing your soul, because you be alive and just every day you want to die.
Okay, then. So at least if you're dead, as far as we know, because none of us have been dead and come back.
Yeah.
But as far as we know, in terms of death, you avoiding, or as far as we know, like I say, you don't have to deal with all these crazy things that are happening on this planet. So that may be a better situation. That's why some people say death is kind of a cure for suffering.
Yeah.
You know, in some ways. Like I said, but we don't know what happens yet in the afterlife. But I'm just saying, but when you're alive and you have to deal with these bad memories, these traumatic memories, that in itself is like you dying over and over and over and over and over again. You have a continuous death going on, because it takes some people their whole lifetime to heal. Some people never get to heal from rape and molestation and all these different things. So it's a rough thing. And then we live in a cold world. You know what I mean? People clearly feel sorry for you, but they really don't. Not everybody gets justice.
Indeed. Yeah. A lot of people don't get justice.
They don't get justice. They go through the court system. They go through the legal system. They go through, try to get help. And people turn them around and shun them. And that's why some people become cold-hearted. And then they go out and do stuff. And so the thing about the molestation thing and all that is there's always multiple sides to it that you have to talk about. Okay, what if the guy who did the molestation, what if he was molested and nobody helped him?
No, that's always the case.
Not always.
Well, not always, but a lot of times.
Saying, but what if? Sometimes it is. So shouldn't we feel sorry for him too?
Yeah, but I guess people don't feel sorry for him because he's an adult.
But then what I'm saying is he is an adult, but then that doesn't take away his issues that he would have had that probably he didn't, that wasn't dealt with properly from a child. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not condoning it because people could listen to me and say, "Oh, why are you taking up for the?" You know what I mean?
Because they mentioned that same case in R. Kelly's situation.
No, but that doesn't mean and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't penalize the person either. I'm not saying that either. So I don't want nobody to write y'all and say, "Why y'all have this crazy dude talking taking up for the sexual offender?" But I'm just bringing up a point that we tend not to look at from time to time. Yeah. So you go, okay, I'll give you an example, right? To show you how some humans, not all, some are. I stopped at a gas station one day. I was waiting on somebody. Somebody had asked me to meet them. I stopped at this particular gas station, and I stopped next to this guy who was out there selling CDs, right? And he was standing up next to my car, trying to hustle, and he wasn't getting no sales at that time. And then this other guy came from another venue across the street to him, and they started talking. And they was right next to my car with my windows up, but I could hear what they were saying. So the guy who came across the road said, "Yeah, but what you saying, man? Listen, I see like you hustling, you doing your thing over here." So the next guy said to him, he said, "No, boy, doing my thing, boy. These people ain't spending no money." He said, "Yeah, man, I just been over helping this man, and he had me lifting all these things, and he ain't even give me $1. And then you know what the other guy said, who was selling the CDs? He said, and then people just wonder why niggas like us is go out and rob. Because we out here trying to make an honest living, and nobody wants to support us and spend money and buy our products. Right? Now, listen to the mentality that he have now. And he's saying, I used to be going around telling young men to stay out of crime. And then he said, I can stop doing that because I out here hustling, trying to feed my family, trying to do things the right way, and ain't nobody helping me. So it look like I need to go back to doing what I used to do. So what I'm saying is you have people out there with mentalities like that. Like if they feel like society owe them something, right? For whatever reason, I don't know what the upbringing was like or whatever, but I'm saying, so you have people like that with those type of mentalities. So when you have people molesting people and stuff like that, you'll be surprised with the molester thinking. The molester thinking, when I was a child, someone did it to me. And nobody never helped me.
So it's like,
so therefore, I feel I might as well do it to somebody else.
So like a rite of
passage. And that's maybe how it started, and that's maybe why it continued that way. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? Then you have some people who have mental issues, mental, emotional diseases and things. So whatever. I mean, I don't know if it's an emotional disease, but I know they have mental diseases. Yeah. Where some people I don't know if, in the church they call it demons. But I don't know what the technical term is. I'm not a psychologist or nothing like that. But these people have voices in their head. They have certain inclinations, certain desires that once these desires come over them, they can't control it. They just have to go and do what they hear the voice or the feeling they have to go and live it out. And these are people who I think we need to keep locked away from society to protect the innocent, but unfortunately we don't do a good enough job. We've failed as a society in these areas to protect people, the innocent people in society from these type of perpetrators. And so that's why these things happen all the time. We could do more, but we don't do enough. And that's just my take on it. But it's a sad thing, as we were talking earlier off camera about so many people have gotten molested who've never reported it. Yeah. So many people have to live in these things. Some people just suppress it.
Yeah. Suppress it for many years.
Yeah, and they suppress it. Some people it works. Some people they suppress it for so long they don't even think about it no more unless someone bring it up. And then some people don't bother them. But then a lot of people don't have that. You know what I mean? People have these things and they go and act on it. I listened to an interview with Clint Watson did with the serial killer rapist guy, Cordell Farrington, who did in 2003, who killed those 5 boys in Grand Bahama.
Right. Yeah.
Very articulate man, spoke well. And he talked about, he said he turned himself in because he didn't want to hurt nobody else. So to me, what I was hearing was in my ignorant, innocent ears, what I was hearing is a schizophrenic person. Yeah. So a person who, when that thing click on them and they say, listen, get that little boy and kill him and rape him, he just go and do it. And then afterwards, it's like, hold on, I really shouldn't be doing this. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's like split personality, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, you know what, I didn't do 5. So then, let me stop because I don't want to make it number 6. So let me turn myself in. Let me help the police go and find where the bodies are and tell them, listen, I was the one who, because they say he was working with the search team.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know.
Hold on.
Yeah,
he was working with the search team, helping them find the bodies. And then one day
he was the culprit. He was the culprit himself.
Let me just tell them I'm the one who did it. And they didn't believe him. I was told they didn't believe him at first. They're like, no, man, you can't, not you. Because he's
here on the ground.
Very cool. And then from what we know, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but from what we know, when I read the report, they said that one of the young men who he molested, he brought him home, and his son was in the next room, and he killed the boy while his son was in the next room. And so from what we know, he didn't do these heinous things to his own child. So which means that he have some level of
morality.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it sounds like a schizophrenic type situation. So I'm saying a lot of these people, and I'm not saying this to take up for the perpetrators. Let me make sure I put that out there.
Yeah.
Because I know how Bahamians go. But all I'm saying is it is sad that these things are happening to innocent babies and innocent kids and adults and people who going through these different rape situations and molestation and all that stuff. But like I said, there's always multiple sides of the story that needs more discussion.
Indeed.
You see? Yeah. And we need these people who have these desires that they can't control. They need to be locked away. They don't need to be in the public.
Yeah.
We need to identify as much of them as possible and deal with them.
I think that's why they're calling for the sex offenders registry. So they can be.
Yeah, I was listening to the minister,
security.
Minister Monroe. He's talking about it, national security, and he was saying that, people don't understand that there's different sides to having the sex offenders list. Because some people believe that once you have the list, they would somehow feel safe. But he was like, that it doesn't really work like that. When you look at it, because if you have a sex offenders list and the sex offender came out, let's say he came out of prison, right? So they let everybody know this particular sex offender is out. Okay, you're looking out for that particular sex offender. Okay, I see John Brown. Once he ain't close to my child's safe. But then what about your cousin?
Somebody else, right?
What about the neighbor?
Right.
What about the uncle? What about the auntie?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They could still molest your child too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you putting all the focus on this one person, but then what about these other people who could potentially be doing the exact same thing?
Perpetrator.
You see what I'm saying? And so he's like, people think that's going to be a cure-all.
No, it won't.
No.
It's just a societal thing we have to deal with.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of discussion needed on these type topics, but they're very sensitive, and my heart goes out to everybody who
suffer.
Who's been through these things. It's not easy.
No. Yeah. But on that, we like to thank you, Ricardo, for joining us on this audio adventure. This video adventure.
Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure.
Yeah. And thanks again. You can find Ricardo's links in the description below to all his different pages. If you want booking for talent.
Yeah, I also I am an MC. I host a lot of events. So weddings, baby showers, you name it, concerts, etc.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Anything, I'm there.
And if you're in the Bahamas, you see him on many commercials too.
If you need somebody to do commercials, ads, I'm here. I do voiceovers. I do all of that stuff.
That's it.
Yeah,
but we can see y'all next time on Erryting Kool.
Yeah, man. Erryting Kool.
Yeah, see.